رمضان يا رمضان رمضان يا رمضان رمضان يا رمضان رمضان يا رمضان.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome to In the Light of the Quran. We do an overview of the recitation of the Quran, and tonight the 11th night of Ramadan. We have the concluding part of Surah Al-Ra'd. And here we are reminded that the guided ones are those who find tranquility in the dhikr or the remembrance of Allah. The guided ones are those who possess faith and who manifest that faith in positive, good, beneficial action. We also reminded that revelation was sent before through human prophets. Yet people opposed them, mocked them, and often rejected what was sent for their own benefit. Surah Al-Ra'd began with reference to diversity in the physical universe and concludes now with the power and the authority of the single creator. Surah Al-Ra'd is followed by Surah Ibrahim. Ibrahim, of course, the patriarch, the father of the Abrahamic faiths. Surah Ibrahim was revealed in Mecca at a time when persecution of Muslims were most intense. Allah warns the oppressors that they will eventually be defeated. But despite the warning, the Meccans of that time increased their hostility towards the early Muslims and perpetrated oppression and cruelty against the Prophet and his handful of followers. Allah here therefore comforts the righteous with the assurance that they will eventually be established in the land. A promise which was fulfilled 10 years after this revelation at the conquest of Mecca in Ramadan in the 8th year of Hijrah. Through instituting the message of the Quran, the messenger leads people from darkness to light, from misguidance to awareness, from aimlessness to Sirat al-Aziz al-Hamid, the path of the Almighty, the one worthy of all praise. We are also reminded that prophets have always conveyed the message, and the message in the language of the people that they were sent to, in order that the people may understand. And among the many prophets who were sent was Moses, Noah, Hud, Salih. All of them were opposed by the people, and most of them were threatened with expulsion or even with death. And then we find a contradistinction between evil and good. The deeds and words of those who oppose the truth and those who engage in wrongfulness are like the ashes which blows about with the slightest wind, light, unstable, valueless, and non-beneficial. The deeds and words of those who do good, like the good word, which is the Quran, like a good tree, firmly rooted, reaching upwards and providing benefit. We are asked to reflect on the workings of the world around us, the water cycle, the life cycle of organisms, the ecosystems, and the cosmos. Ponder over all of these bounties of Allah. Never will you be able to enumerate them. Never. وَلَا تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. You will never be able to count them. So do not be of those who are ظَلُومٌ كَفَّارٌ, ungrateful deniers of the reality. Then there follows a very emotional reference to the stay in Mecca of Prophet Ibrahim, his wife Hagar, and the little son Ismail, and of course the prayer of Ibrahim, peace be upon all of them. The prayer to make Mecca a place of safety and security. A prayer thanking Allah for His favors, for providing sustenance in a barren desert land, and for providing them, him and his wife, a son in their old age. Thankfulness for the capacity and the ability and the request to have the power to fulfill obligations, and also the seeking of forgiveness. Surah Ibrahim concludes by informing us, let not the unjust and evil ones think that because they seemingly get away with their wrongdoings, that the deeds are not recorded and that they will not be held accountable. Surely, each one will be informed of their doings, and each will be recompensed according to their deeds. Then follows Surah Al-Hijr, a Meccan surah, focusing on guidance to humanity throughout history. And this guidance has come by the agency of divine revelation. And then follows also an indication of the place of the Quran among the scriptures of the world and as the epitome of literature, its place among the books of literature. The revelation we read are but verses of a book that clarifies matters, not confuses nor confounds. And despite people's opposition to revelation, Allah has revealed the dhikr, the reminder, and Allah will be its preserver. People before have undermined and mocked the messengers and their message. The question is asked, why do people not heed the lessons from history and realize that they are on this world only for a very short while, after which they will be held accountable? Behold the sky. Allah has made it a mention for the constellation of stars which adorn the firmament. The earth appears spread out despite it being oval. It contains firm mountains. The winds assist in precipitation of rain and pollination of plants. The creator of all of this brought you into existence, and he eventually will gather you individually for accountability. Reference is made to human creation and to the arrogance of Iblis. And we are instructed not to follow the arrogant and the ignorant way of Iblis, who opposed our common ancestor and common forefather, Adam, peace be upon him, and in so doing disobeyed the Creator. Similarly, those who disobey prophets are disobeying the commands of the Creator. Remember, Allah is absolutely just, most forgiving, most merciful, whose punishment is indeed most grievous. The idea is for us to incline towards those deeds that will bring Allah's forgiveness and merciful and not incur punishment. There's reference to those who oppose the prophets. Prophets like Ibrahim, Lut. The Ashabul Aika, the people of the wood, or Ashabu Madian, the people of Madian, to whom Shu'aib or Prophet Jethro was sent. The Ashabul Hijr, people of the rock, or the Thamud people, to whom Prophet Salih was sent. These were among the people who were opposed by their people. These were among the prophets who were opposed by their people. Despite the remnants of their buildings still being there in many parts of the world, the message of the prophets have been contained in the revelation of the Quran, but the deeds and the evil of those who did wrong and opposed the prophets, they'll still be held accountable. Nothing of their glory remains except warning not to follow in their way. Allah is the Creator. Allah is the ultimate guide, whose guidance is available through revelation. Glorify Him and Him alone until that certain moment of death arrives, and death certainly will arrive unannounced. Then follows Surah An-Nahl. Surah An-Nahl, or the bee, is also a Meccan surah, and revealed after some of the persecuted Muslims who were persecuted in Mecca sought refuge in Abyssinia. And this surah focuses on awakening people to the realities of creation, the need for revelation, the importance of adhering to divine guidance, and the need for implementing justice and goodness, and also the significance of da'wah, inviting people to the path of righteousness. Death, the hereafter, and accountability on the day of accountability, the day of judgment, must eventually come to pass. Reflect on human creation, reflect on natural phenomena, reflect on the ni'am or the favors of Allah, and realize if you try to enumerate all of these bounties, never would you be able to calculate them. The righteous know that doing good in this world leads to what is best for the eternity in the hereafter. All prophets, in essence, conveyed the same basic message: obedience to Allah and shunning all forms of corruption and wrongfulness. Remember, each people will be held accountable, and from each people, each person will be held individually accountable. The nonsensical nature of idolatry is exposed. The attributing of daughters to Allah on one hand, yet burying their own daughters alive, as the Meccans did. Reflect on the nature in operation. the unique ability of the bee to produce honey, which is a form of nutrition and as well medicinal value for human beings. Allah knows all secrets, every level of the unknown, and He has granted human beings the faculties of hearing, the faculty of sight, of emotion, and of intellect. Allah has facilitated life for human beings, for animals, for plants on the earth. How do you observe all of these bounties of Allah, yet remain ungrateful and disbelief? So we asked, indulge neither in social mischief nor in ideological corruption. Rather, reflect on the day when everyone will be gathered for accountability. Remember, revelation is intended to clarify matters, to be a source of guidance, as an embodiment of mercy, and a conveyor of glad tidings. Shukran. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
رمضان